Good morning, everybody. And good morning, everybody who's online as well. And very happy New Year to all of you. So, how was New Year?
Awesome.
Did you guys do something? Yeah? Okay. Low key. Low key is good.
Yeah, it is good.
It was very low key for me as well. In fact, I was by myself, which I really enjoyed because I could do the self reflection that I wanted to do. I think it is a kind of a magical time of the year, right? Isn't it? I mean, the universe almost gives you a fresh page, like a fresh canvas that you can create your painting once again or write a beautiful story, a next adventure. So that's how I feel, but I know that a lot of people, they start with New Year resolutions. There's so much talk about it. There's so much pressure against it. Like, oh, what should be my New Year resolution? They write a huge list. And then research shows that 15 days into it, people actually don't follow it. And then there is research that how do you actually make sure that your resolutions stick this time? So much noise. So I don't want to talk anything about all of that. But I do want you to consider, and it's beautiful that you guys are here. I do want you to consider one goal, just one goal that kind of enfolds all the goals within it. Just one purpose that when you align with that purpose, everything else can follow naturally. And that goal is your soul's purpose, your life purpose, your spiritual awakening. And I don't want you to feel daunted by the word. Spiritual awakening, is it some aha moment that I'm going to experience or something of that nature? No, spiritual awakening for many of us is very incremental. But you start on that journey. It's a journey of self-discovery. It's not meant just for mystics and saints and somewhere in caves and mountaintops. It's for you and me. And it is our turn. It is your turn to start looking into it and to go on the self-discovery. Because here's the thing, you are in a case of mistaken identity. You think you are this person, but you are more than that. You are this divine, immortal, spiritual being. And it's time for you to start that self-realization. And the way to do it is through self-discovery. I'm reminded a few years back, I underwent a case of identity theft. Actually, it happened to me a few years back. I think 2006, 2007, but somebody stole my identity and made a lot of cash advances on my credit card. Believe it or not, I was shopping in Dallas when I was living right here, and the $5,000 cash advance, a lot of shopping and all of that. And so it was really unsettling that, that case, that identity theft. And of course, eventually the credit card bank investigated it, and I didn't have to pay for all that expense. But now you notice how everything is so careful, the fraud alerts, the two-factor authentication and whatnot. But here's what I want to say. Do you realize a bigger identity crime has been committed against you? Have you thought about that? And it has been committed not by some criminal in the dark web or somebody in the shadows. It's been committed by well-meaning, loving people, even your parents, your teachers, your siblings, your clergy, your relationships, your first boyfriend or your first girlfriend, even your spouse. All of them, bit by bit, have told you who you are or who you're supposed to be, based on their conditioning, based on their fears, based on their limitations. They told you who you were, and you sort of kind of believed it, and you allowed that to become your identity. So that is the crime that has been committed against us. And it's time we reclaim our divine identity back. That is the whole purpose of spiritual awakening. Realization of self. Who really am I? Am I this weak, aberrant, gullible, vulnerable, limited being, or am I somebody immortal? Am I somebody so unlimited? Am I somebody with infinite potential? So it's time for us to go on that discovery. And I feel if you start on that path, every other goal that you have in your life is going to follow very naturally. It's going to align itself easily because you are really trying to figure out who you are. Who am I? That is a question we all need to ask. And there are so many meditations on it. Who am I? Who are you? Yeah. There is a parable. Actually, I want to say before that, I used to know somebody. So, she, when she was a 14-year-old girl, this was her first time dressing up and going out with her friends. So she dressed up and she was really excited. She came down the stairs and the father looked at her and he said one word, whore. And that one word, one moment, became her prison. It became her prison. She decided her identity was around that word. She was ashamed of herself, of her body, of her worthiness. So that is what can happen to any one of us, unknowingly, unwittingly, unconsciously, as children, as teenagers. We got caught up in these lies. And bit by bit, we started to lose our divine nature. People told us who we were, and we accepted it. I remember when I was a young kid, I love my brother, but when I used to have these grandiose ideas, he used to look at me and he used to say, "Get real." and for him, get real would mean, no, you can't do that. And he was 4 years older than me, and I started to believe him. And so now I know better. Get real. When somebody says get real, actually what they mean is get stuck, get limited. Don't rock my world, which is my fearful, stressed out world, so don't rock it. So yes, get limited. That's what get real means. But I want you to think of it in a different way. Get real should mean to you, remember your true nature. Anytime anybody says get real, oh, thank you, great advice. I need to remember who I am really. So that's a great tip that I use on me often. And last but not the least, I want to share a parable with you. So there was this beautiful princess in a kingdom, and she had everything she could want. She had this beautiful room, silken curtains, luxurious bed, incense, fragrance, violin, everything. And then one day she was kidnapped by the fishmongers. And so she started to live there. Initially, she didn't like it. The smell bothered her. But then eventually she got used to sleeping on the floor in just a small hut and the rotting fish smell pervading every day. And that was okay with her. She acclimated to it. And then the king's men finally found the princess, and they brought her back to the palace. And the parents put her back in that room with the incense, the fragrance, the silken curtains, the life of comfort. But the palace felt her wrong now. She couldn't sleep. She could not sleep. She felt that, all of this didn't make sense. She forgot that the elegance, the royalty, the palace was her birthright. And that's how we are as well. We've forgotten that our birthright is the beauty, is the unlimited potential that we have. We've forgotten our own exquisiteness, and we've kind of sort of gotten used to living in far shabbier quarters of the mind. So it's time to go back to the palace. Go back to what is your birthright. And the way to do that is through such a powerful meditation. It's called Who Am I? It was started initially by one of the great yogis in India. His name was Ramana Maharishi. And he said, you don't have to do anything. He never read anything. He didn't have a guru. He was just his own person. And he said, all you have to do is to sit down and drop this question in your heart. Who am I? That's all you have to do. And let your spirit answer you. You're not your age, you're not your weight, you're not your relationships, you're not your Facebook or Instagram page, none of that. You're not your accomplishments even. You're definitely not your perceived failures. So then, who are you? These are the categories or labels that have been given to you by the society. And it's very fragmented. But you're always whole. You're always complete. The only thing that happened with you was that you never ceased to be a spiritual being. You ceased to know yourself as a spiritual being. See, there's a difference. You never ceased to be a spiritual being. You ceased to know yourself as a spiritual being. That's all. So you have to, it's like a refresher course. It's not something new you're learning here. You just have to go back and recognize who you really are. Are you that person you think you are, or are you much more greater than that? Does anybody want to say something about it, or does it make sense? I mean, I hope it does. So that is self-discovery. That is the spiritual awakening. So you start with a better assumption about yourself. Even if you take it as an experiment, a personal experiment, why should you start? See, the mind is going to prove to you what you want to be proven. If you decide to say, I'm limited, go ahead and prove it, the mind will prove that to you. So start with a better and a more grand assumption about yourself. And then go into using these powerful tools like meditation, like the Kriya. The Kriya is going to clean up your energy channel. It's going to raise your energy. Meditation is a powerful tool that will help you go inwards. Use these tools to figure out, who are you? You know? Right? What do you think? What do you think? Yeah,
Because we're live.
Yeah.
There's like 12 people online.
Oh, really? Okay. What do I think? I mean, I've been, last couple of days, I've been thinking through just a lot of these conflicting thoughts were coming through where, you know, you listen to some of the meditations and it starts to talk about getting back to your divine self, right? And then you have this, I don't know if I'm going to put this in the right words here, but a lot, like you're trying to, I'm caught between trying to figure out, like, how do you use that to understand how to move forward versus like the idea of like, hey, this is what I want to achieve. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to frame this up in a way, but it's really this area where I'm trying to like navigate, trying to figure out like, okay, I am this divine being, or there's this divine being, and taking a human form, like as you mentioned, right? Okay, great. Then you know, how do you balance out the, hey, things are gonna happen the way they're gonna happen, versus, you know, aspiring to do certain things, right? And I'm kind of going around and not in circles, but I'm kind of seeing all different aspects of this. And so when it gets back to like who am I, that's one aspect of it. Say you ground yourself and you say I am this divine being, but then what do you use as your guide to navigate to how you should live this life? Right? And that's kind of where I'm kind of, you hear all these things where you can find out your soul's purpose, or all these other things, all these other messages of like maybe helping you kind of navigate it, but is that also kind of limiting you and saying, hey, this is where you should go? Well, how do you know that's where you should go? Like, how do you navigate just based on, how do you truly navigate this? Like and this is where I'm kind of like, you sit there and you talked about, what do you call it, resolutions and stuff like that. I don't necessarily do much of those. I try to more figure out like, what do I need to become? Like, how do I need to be? And then just let life unfold in front of me. And that's, anyways, I'm kind of rambling at this point. I'm really trying to figure this out. Like, how do you get to the point of like, all right, if this is who I am, then how do you know what you're supposed to do? How do you know how you're supposed to navigate? And I think that's kind of where I'm at. So I don't have an answer yet, but that's what I'm searching, and I'm trying to uncover it. Yeah.
Go ahead, you talk.
Earlier on, when you were talking about like a fresh restart, it's kind of like we're owed that to ourselves, a fresh restart. And for some people, me included, the holidays has a lot of weight and density to it. And I always, like, my attitude is I'm just going to skate through and survive. But just the way you worded, how you worded it, it gave a different perspective. Like I owe it to myself to reset what's not working for me in my life. Yes. So I did find something online the other day when I was scrolling, and at work, people small talk. Oh, do you have a resolution? Do you have a resolution? Oh, the weight, oh, the eating, the basic boring stuff. And I came across something online that I shared, and it said, decide what kind of life you really want, and then say no to everything that isn't that. So that's my resolution. So what you were saying about the fresh restart, it just resonated with me, and I'm really looking forward to this meditation about who am I. So, yes.
Oh, you want to say? Go ahead.
So I think this connects, but let's see. So I've been doing some reading on quantum mechanics and all that sort of thing. So the very discovery of quantum mechanics was somebody just taking what was the common wisdom and letting go of that and just trying to see what fit, what worked. And it was with, I'll close that up. It's just a breeze. I know. So in any case, and the way I kind of translate that into my meditation practice is like I let go of what is like the world of Kant, the ideas of Kant, and I really look at my experiences and everything, and trust my experiences and trust how my meditation practice manifests, and less about worrying about why, but more just realizing how that it actually is working for me. Like sometimes the explanation of why it works comes later, but trusting the experiences and throwing myself into my meditation, and just seeing the benefits manifest. To me, that's been really powerful for me, and that's been like one of those things where I think it kind of that it connects, but it's just like the world tells you, oh, that won't work, this isn't possible, that can't. But when you actually experience it actually working, the naysayers just be damned.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, yes, the searching is part of the exercise. You said you're searching and how to navigate being this, because you are that spiritual being, and so you're searching, right? And that is part of the self-discovery. You figure this out yourself. But yes, you have the North Star in front of you. I am a spiritual being, and I'm going to figure out how to navigate on this earth plane with that soul suit up. You know, the soul, I wear the soul in front of me rather than the human on me, and I'm going to figure out how to navigate through that beingness. And so some of the, yeah?
There's also a comment online.
Okay, about?
Well, just about.
Okay, let me finish what I'm saying,
Yeah. Okay.
because I'll lose my train of thought. So what was I saying? Yeah. So one of the things that we have been discussing is, and I know I might have emphasized it a lot, but I'm going to emphasize it again. One of the things that helps me navigate is understanding where I am at my consciousness. How am I thinking? What is my consciousness level? Where am I interacting from? Am I interacting? Am I being heart-centered enough? So that really helps me and puts things into perspective for me. But that's the way I do it. Am I heart-centered enough in my decision with people, the situations? And yes, we meet all kinds of situations. We meet so many different people. And sometimes it is difficult to be heart-centered. But then do you take pause instead of just reacting? Are you taking pause enough to respond when you come back to your heart? And that is one way I have noticed is to really navigate by the thought that I am a spiritual being. So that helps. What else? And of course, meditation. And you already do that. That is quickening your self-awareness, your kriya. It's clearing up your energy. It's releasing all the negative patterns out of you. And and again, this path of self-discovery is so beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you. You guide yourself into finding out that you are a spiritual being. Yes, David.
So the comment online is, I find that this year I don't have any New Year's resolutions. I simply am content with living in the now and a feeling and sense of excitement, of surrender.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, heart-centered, right? So love has so many derivatives. Surrender, living in the now, generosity, empathy, love, compassion, all of these are the derivatives. So if we can live a heart-centered existence as much as we can, we're on our way. We're on our way. So that is why the 7 floors of consciousness really works. Which floor are you on? Yes, you need the 3rd floor to get some work done and whatever, but are you just staying there? Or are you ready to move up? So keep checking in. Like I have a reminder, it's called a miracle break. I put a few reminders on my phone, so just to remind me where I'm at. So yes, it's a lot of deep work. And that's another thing I found. A lot of people that we mingle with are not ready to do the deep work. And so maybe something to think about in this new year of yours. You want to be in a tribe which is like-minded, not because you are better or they are not better. None of that. It's just like you want to connect with people who will help you lift yourself up as well. So find the right crowd. Find your tribe, they say, right? So we're going to drop this question in our heart, and then we are going to look for the answer. And let your spirit guide you. It's a very simple meditation, and I think we're ready for it. Yeah? Anything you want to say, Aviva? No. Afterwards. Okay. Anything else, David? Any comment online, or we're good? Okay, so we're ready to begin. Oh, I'm waiting for you to, yeah? Let's begin by closing our eyes. Centering ourselves. Relaxing. Softening our shoulders. Letting the body settle. Take a breath. Another deep breath. Centering yourself to this moment. Accepting this moment as is. Your breath. Breathing in, pause, breathing out. Centered, awake, alert. And dropping this question into your spiritual heart. Who am I? Who am I? letting this question be your anchor today. If your mind wanders, return to the question. The question is your companion. Not to think about it, not to answer it, but to rest in it. Observing the stillness of this moment. Notice you are conscious right now. Something in you knows you're here, knows you're sitting in this space. What is that which is conscious? Who am I? Thoughts arise within you, memories, images, words, and they pass. But who is conscious of these thoughts? Are you your thoughts? Or are you observing them? Who am I? emotions may appear. Peace, curiosity, restlessness. Who is conscious of these emotions? Sensations arise in your body. Warmth, tingling, weight, anything. Who is conscious of these sensations? Are you the body, or are you aware of this body? Who am I? If I ask you to notice the sound of the bells, your consciousness moves to the sound. If I invite you to feel the sensation in your feet, your consciousness goes there. But if I ask you to be conscious of yourself, where does attention go? It goes inward. Consciousness recognizes itself. This is your true nature, the silent presence that you are. So who am I? See clearly, you're not the thoughts, you're not the emotions, you're not the sensations, you are not what is observed. You are the observer. You are the consciousness in which all of this appears. Who am I? Allowing these words to settle in your being. I am not the mind. I am not the body. I am pure consciousness. Who am I? Perhaps I am a divine consciousness in which thoughts are known. I am the consciousness in which this body is felt. I am a silent, eternal witness of all my experiences. Who am I? I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. I am pure consciousness. Who am I? This consciousness was never born. It does not age. It does not die. Forms come and go within it. But it remains untouched. Infinite, divine, immortal. And you are that. So ask again, who am I? Nothing needs to be achieved. Nothing needs to be added. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Resting in your true self. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes to love, light, and letting go. Namaste. So here's to 2026 we come. A reset for some of us, an awakening for all of us, and a journey of self-discovery and recommitting to our practice. We can help us get there. I don't know. Yeah. Now I'm going to let you speak. If you want to.
As you were talking, earlier on, and as we went through the meditation, it was just a reminder. I used to think long before I started meditating that it was about adding things to try to come up for your best self, right? What do I need to add to myself? And then it dawned on me, and it's just a good reminder that it's not about adding anything. It's about taking things away, stripping all the other stuff out of the way so that you can find or see and reveal who you truly are. Yeah. So, but that's what came to mind during the meditation. It's not about adding anything. You have it already. It's everything else that's kind of blocking that. And if you remove that stuff, you're going to find out exactly who you are. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Oh, we need to say bye. Let's say bye to everybody. Thank you for joining. Bye. Oh, yeah. mentor